Welcome back. This is episode 155 of the NYYST podcast. I'm your host, Christian. As always, joined by my co-host, Chris.
You.
And Hoodie Guy, Rye.
What up?
What up?
So how was your holiday, fellas?
Sucked.
Yeah?
No,
That's
it's
nice.
good, man.
You're just miserable.
No, I
Where
love
were we?
Thanksgiving,
Where?
man.
What was that place called? Just the Legion we were at, Chris?
It's called the Knights of
The
Columbus.
Knights of Columbus. Yeah, we had a nice little.
Yeah, my father-in-law's was the grand night for a while. They
It's-
give him the
it's
key. We
crazy.
shut down the.
I've been spending holidays with Chris's in-laws' families for a few years now, and there's still every year there's like 20 new people that show up that
It's
I've never met.
Real.
You
And
have
we
a
grew
big
up.
family, dude.
We grew up in a family we barely even talked to our fucking parents, let alone
Yeah,
6 cousins.
yeah. You got a lot of cousins.
You have a big family? You have a big Italian family, Christian?
It's none of your business.
What do you mean? I
don't-
want to know
I
about
don't
your
have to-
family.
I don't have to tell you that. That's personal information.
That means no.
No, I don't really have a big family. My mother has 2 brothers and a sister. They each had 2 kids.
I don't need the fucking family tree, dude.
Well,
I'm just
that's
asking.
it. Does that consider a big family to you?
What about your wife?
What about her?
She is kind of has a big family. No?
Mm. See the same.
I'm not used to the big family shit, man.
See the same.
Like
4
I said, I
people.
grew up with
Well, we
every
had a
holiday
big-
was 10 people, tops. Now it's 100.
Yeah, not that big.
My wife's family's fucking huge. I had 300 people at my wedding. 275 were her family,
Yeah.
and the rest were my groomsmen.
So
How was your holiday? No one asked you.
I don't really care. You don't have to ask me.
Oh, because what? You don't want to talk about your day?
I'm not a big Thanksgiving guy. It's not really. That's not my holiday.
You're sick. You're sick right now, so you're extra miserable, and you don't like Thanksgiving. So now I just triggered you.
You didn't. How did you trigger me? I'm the one that brought it up.
How do you
I
not like
triggered
Thanksgiving? My wife doesn't like Thanksgiving.
I'm not into Thanksgiving. It's just not my day.
I fucking love it, man. I don't love it as much anymore, though. Got to say, I
Yeah.
think I'm starting to like Christmas more again.
It's just unnecessary Thanksgiving to me.
You give thanks. What's unnecessary?
The food is just unnecessary.
Oh, Jesus.
It is.
Oh, fuck giving thanks. I don't like the food.
Who do you give thanks to? You wake up and you start giving thanks to everybody?
No.
Do you say...
I'm thankful every day of my life. I am.
Here we go now.
I am. Oh, man. We're all sick.
It's the weather.
I'm not sick. I got my hoodie up for Carmelo Anthony's return to the NBA.
Would he score like 9 points?
No, he's actually scoring. He's scored over 20 points in 3 games so far.
Okay, so this is a basketball podcast now.
This is going to be the shortest show
I'm down to talk
in
some
the history.
b-ball.
I'm not. I have no idea what the hell.
I'm only looking forward to the final topic we're talking about because I can't wait to fight Christian.
That's not even the final topic we're going to talk about.
Yeah, it is.
We have another segment of the show.
Yeah, but then I'm going to bring it back to the Irishman.
Which, all right, let's bring. Do you want to just get it out?
No,
of the way?
no. I don't want to rush it.
Okay.
Let's start from the beginning. Okay.
What do you want to start with?
This Trinan douche.
Oh, he's a douche now.
Yeah, well, he has a 4.9 ERA last year?
4.91.
And why is there rumors surrounding him?
Because Fred's got him projected good.
Fred's got him
next
projected
year.
for a 3.77. A little bit.
Fred
of a,
also doesn't know that he's might
Right.
head to the Yankees.
Yeah, that'll go up to a 4.
That will instantly go up to a 4.5. So before we came on, Christian, you were saying this could be like a counter to Betances if the Yankees let him walk, like if the Yankees don't offer him anything.
Well, let's get the background information on Blake Trinan here. He is
Does
arbitration.
he have a criminal record?
I have no idea. If he does, the Oakland A's are one of the least spending teams in Major League Baseball,
Moneyball.
to say the least. And Trinan is arbitration eligible, and he's gonna.
want my scalps.
All right, do you want to just take over?
No.
He's arbitration eligible, and he's going to make about $8 million a year, which is a little high for a reliever that wasn't even their closer last year.
I thought he was their closer, you said.
He was their closer in 2018, not 2019.
So he got demoted.
because he had a terrible year. Because he had.
Oh, yeah.
Did he start the year as the closer last year and then?
That's why you're stat guy, right? You could look that up.
Very, very well.
Yeah, let's get him. He sounds very appealing. Got demoted. Has a mid-4 ERA.
Does he have any saves?
Trying to
2019.
see.
Played half of his games in the shittiest stadium in baseball. So he's probably depressed.
We had last year, did it say saves? He had 16 saves last year.
So he got demoted during the season.
Yeah.
Awful.
Well, so yeah, what do they want?
So if he gets non-tendered, that means Oakland doesn't want to go to arbitration with him. They don't even want to extend the contract to him, and he becomes available. And
just like that, he becomes available, and now would he have to go through arbitration for whatever team he goes to? Like, how would that work? I've never even heard of a team not going through arbitration.
It doesn't happen often, so I'm not 100% sure on it, because usually most teams will go to arbitration with their guys unless they're do a ton of money and coming off bad years.
And who's talking about this? Like, who's dropping this?
Don't worry about it. I heard it from a source.
No, you don't have sources. Who's saying it seriously? Is it a serious thing?
Yeah, Ken Rosenthal reported it.
Okay. And the Yankees are showing serious interest, or just the name was brought up? Could be a possible fit.
The Yankees are interested in Blake Trinan. That was a tweet from Ken Rosenthal.
Oh. Yankee fans are not.
I don't see. To me, it doesn't make a big deal whether they get him or not, because.
Well, if you're telling me these are going to be replacements for guys like Betances, if they don't sign Dellin Betances, I'm not okay with that. I mean, Betances isn't just some bum.
I didn't say that he was a bum, but the Yankees also don't know what they're might be expecting from a guy like Dellin Betances.
I'd rather take my chances and overpay Betances. Didn't mean to rhyme. Than to pay this douchebag $8 million.
All right, you don't even know him.
I don't care. I don't like him.
It says here,
I really don't like him.
If the player and the team are unable to come to an agreement prior to the scheduled hearing, the player's salary will be determined by the arbitration panel.
That's if
Third
they want
party
to go
arbitration.
to arbitration.
All right, now is the arbitration panel tied to the team, or is it tied to Major League Baseball?
It's an
where
independent
it's an
arbitrator.
independent
all right,
third
so
party.
Then, so then at that point, if the Oakland Athletics denied his arbitration or whatever, then the arbitration panel would create his contract for whatever team he goes to.
Think of
if the two teams want to go to the two sides go to arbitration.
Think of it like this. Ready?
Right. Well, the only way they don't go to arbitration is if they come to a contract agreement.
Think of like a bunch of jurors, right?
They can also.
They're the arbitration panel.
No, I know how arbitration works. I was just wondering what happens when it doesn't work.
When it always works.
No, when they don't want to do it, when they don't want to pay them, but they're under their contract, so they
can't.
I think they have to pay them.
All right. So if a team non-tenders a player, it declines to give them a contract for the upcoming season, which means that they don't want to go to arbitration because they don't want to pay what they feel the player is going to end up getting. And if that happens, the player automatically becomes a free agent.
And look, they know, like going into it, you have a very good idea, I'm sure, of what worst case scenario could be. And if a team doesn't feel like that player is worth it, if they lose that battle, they're not going to tender the contract.
See, the question now is that if he's going to be due around $8 million, the A's could trade him and get something for him, or non-tender him and get nothing for him.
I just don't see where this guy is worth $8 million. That's my problem. And $8 million is nothing. I just don't see where he's worth it. Because some of the better relief pitchers out there aren't even making that much a year.
2018, he had an 0.78 ERA.
It's because of
how many innings pitched?
In 80 innings.
He had a crazy
He allowed
good
7 runs and 2 home runs in those 80 innings.
You know what?
Struck out 100 batters.
This is kind of an extreme.
Whip was .083.
This is an extreme example.
I'm sorry, .83.
But look at Edwin Diaz, man. I mean, you would have paid the world for that guy after his 2018 season. Now he's a bum. Does he have what it takes to go back to that guy? How much would you be willing to pay Edwin Diaz right now to take a chance on him?
It's a good example because I wouldn't pay him.
Right? I mean, maybe Edwin Diaz was that good in 2018, you'd be willing to pay him $8 million. But a guy like Trinan, who could have just been a complete flip. This guy was so good, Diaz, in 2018, that he had one of the best years of any closer of all time. And then he becomes some bust.
But he's not really a complete fluke. 2014, 249. 2015,
Who, Trinan?
386. 2016, 228. 2017, he got traded. He finished with a 3.93. 2018, 078. And then really last year was
All right. So maybe
That's a lot of innings.
Maybe
so.
8's fair. I don't know.
Again, it's a bullpen option that the Yankees might be looking into, because then it ties into Dellin Betances. So, we keep saying, like, he's on the wrong side of 30 right now, coming off this major injury.
I still want him though, man. I still think he's that valuable.
And Trinan is the same age as Dellin Betances, but
Dellin Betances is a guy that I'd rather be wrong about and take that chance than be wrong and realize he's good somewhere else. I just can't. I'd rather take that chance and be wrong with him on my team than be wrong about his abilities and he's killing it somewhere else. That would kill me.
It's just, if you're the Yankees, what Blake Trinan will cost you around $8 million, and I think Betances is going to cost them more.
if they trade for him, if he becomes a free agent, the Yankees don't have to pay him
Right,
$8 million.
True.
They could probably maybe get him on a lower, because I believe if he gets traded, he's still arbitration eligible.
Yeah, so the key for training is for him to be non-tendered.
Is it Trinan or Trinan?
Trinan? I don't know, whatever.
I don't know. I don't know.
I actually
say
it's
try.
probably Trinan.
See,
Trinan.
it's not that it's not so much getting Blake Trinan. It's that I think it's a move to counter losing Dellin Betances.
And that's where
Yes.
I'm probably being a little bit more sensitive about it because I'm thinking too much into it.
Yeah, he walked a lot of batters last year, man.
They're not trying to replace Betances with him. They're just saying if they don't work things out with Betances, Trinan could be a good
Backup plan.
fallback.
59 and 2/3 innings pitched last year for Trinan, 37 walks, 1.62 WHIP last year.
It
Terrible.
doubled. It doubled from
Terrible.
the previous year.
So would you rather waste your money risking it on him or throw a little more at Betances and risk it at him?
Yeah,
you
that's
don't.
what I think that can correlate with one another. Because if you're going to pay Trinan $4 million, would you rather just?
Well, you're
pay
telling me Trinan's a fallback, so you're going to have to pay him probably more than you value him if he, is a free agent. I'd rather take some of that extra money I'd have to pay for Trinan over valuing him and maybe pack it into a little bit more what Betances would want and take a risk there. I'd rather Betances be shit than Trinan be shit for me. I'd rather be wrong about Betances than to fall back on that. Gabish?
No, it's time to move on from Dellin Betances. Let him go to Philadelphia.
Really? You think so, man? I disagree.
I just don't know what.
I disagree. I think Betances has earned more than that. He's so good, dude. Look at those. Look at his numbers. I think you can argue that Dellin Betances, although he is still considered a great reliever by almost everyone, is still underrated across the league.
See, the funny
on
thing
how
about
good he is.
the funny thing about this rumor or this report that Joe Girardi wants Dellin Betances is that
And Romine.
Joe Girardi kind of washed his hands of Dellin Betances in 2017.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Was that the year when with the arbitration? What was the arbitration? That was
Was that heading into that
15
season?
or 16 going into, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there was some bad blood there, obviously. But Joe's going to go
yeah,
for...
that was leading into the 2017
Joe's
season.
on a team right now that is, what did they say last year? They're going to spend stupid money.
Yeah.
And he's got guys in the free agent market that he's familiar with. Why would you not want to go for them? Especially a guy like Betances. I don't blame him.
It's just funny though.
Yeah, it is. I mean, is it spiteful? You think it's a little spiteful?
No, I don't think it's spiteful. I mean funny in the sense that we
Joe's
saw
a new
how
man.
He just kind of like buried Betances in 2017.
Joe's a new man. Betances didn't start coming around in 2017 until I don't think he was even pitching in big spots again until that Red Sox series.
No, he wasn't even. He was a non-factor in the postseason in 2017. Joe had him buried. He gave up a game-winning hit in Cleveland because it went extra innings and he literally had nobody else to pitch.
Crazy. I feel like Booney did that with Green when he got here until this past year.
Yeah. Well, Green had less of a track record than Dylan Betances did.
Was that this game here? He went 2 innings against Cleveland, game 2?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. They lost in the 13th.
And he pitched in mop-up in game 1, right?
Yes. 1 inning, yeah.
There you go. Joe Girardi's trying to reform the 2017 Yankees down in Philadelphia.
He thinks he has another shot at it. He thinks he could do it this time. I don't blame him.
So the thing with them being linked to Didi is that they'd have to move some stuff around to get Didi because they have Gene Segura down there, so they would have to trade him or move him to a different position. So it's not like Dylan Betances where they have an obvious need for bullpen help. And Romine would be, that's the other thing, the link to Romine. He'd be a backup down there because
he
they
wouldn't
have
be the starter.
They have
Right.
Real Muto down there.
Yeah, he wouldn't be the starter. He would literally become the backup to the guy that is argued against Gary Sanchez as the most valuable catcher in the league in all of baseball. When someone argues you who's better than Gary Sanchez, what's the one name that they possibly come up with?
Oh, it's the only really name that you can make a decent argument with.
JT, you had 5 extra syllables. Real Muto when you say it. Is he that good? I've never followed this guy's career. I'm going to try and follow.
Yeah, he's very good.
I'm going to try and follow Major League Baseball a little closer around the league.
Yeah, he
Young Gomes is up there.
Yeah, where did he go? Did he resign
Padres,
with the
right?
Nationals?
No, wasn't that the Padres' biggest?
No.
Oh, no.
No, you're thinking of Grandal
Yeah,
with the White
Grandal.
Sox.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
Young Gomes going back on a 2-year deal to Washington.
he's a great player.
But is he their starter or is he shared time with Suzuki?
Yeah, he would. Who else was catching for them?
Suzuki.
Yeah. I think they're both coming back.
I mean, if Joe wanted to be really spiteful, he'd go after fucking Garrett Cole or Strasburg. And really, if he wanted to stick it to the Yankees.
Well, I don't know. How's he gonna work that?
Oh, I think they give Joe a lot of power down there.
Power Joe?
I think he's on a power trip right now.
The thing that worries me with Betances with the Yankees signing him isn't his talent; it's the money that he's going to go. He's going to be able to receive because there's a few teams out there that are high market teams that are in desperate need of relief pitchers.
No, I know.
Boston,
It's going to be a bidding war.
the Mets, the Dodgers could even use an
Yeah,
arm.
and the first 2 teams you just mentioned aren't going to spend money.
No.
You don't think so?
The
Yeah,
Red Sox. That's why they
Sox.
brought Heim Bloom in there. They want to cut payroll.
Did you hear that Mookie Betts unfollowed the Red Sox on Twitter?
That's the
Yeah.
most.
Wait, can I say something? Wait, 2 quick things. One, just real quick. You don't hire a guy like Joe Girardi without knowing you're going to have to give him some power. And then he's going to run a little bit of your team, and he's not going to be the guy you're going to push around. But I was talking to someone yesterday with this whole, maybe it was you, Rye, I forget, with the whole Garrett Cole thing when he immediately after the game, after they lost the World Series, how he had his Scott Boras hat on, wanted nothing to do with the Astros after that.
Yeah, you were telling me about it because I didn't know if that was true or not. His whole post game.
Maybe because he knew that whole cheating thing was about to come
I was
out.
talking to someone the other night, and I said, who knows? I mean, who's to say Mike Fiers didn't text him? Who's to say they're not friends? And to just say, look, man, just giving you a heads up. I just dropped a huge story to The Athletic. They're gonna post it after the World Series. Get the fuck out of Houston, because I unveiled everything. Who's to say that didn't happen? And what players are ever going to want to go there right now? Do you think it's a possibility that Cole wanted to completely remove himself and separate himself from?
Well, think about it like this: if you got to see what the ramifications are or the consequences of them doing this. If they're just going to take away draft picks, it doesn't affect the team for another 4 years at the earliest, right? How quickly do guys get through the system? If you're a guy like Juan Soto, 3, or Gleyber Torres, 3 years, so 3 or 4 years at the earliest.
Yeah, my thing is
You
more
know,
like
if you
the stigma around the team.
What
now.
stigma? That they're still going to be one of the best teams in baseball next year?
They're going to be hated even more than they are now.
Okay, so who cares?
And they're just going to be looked at as guys who don't deserve it.
Well, if you don't care about that, I'm sure
do you want to
guys,
go to an organization that is up in fucking flames?
maybe there's a lot of scummy people out there that don't care about that type of thing.
And if you think about it, though, the people that they get are through trades. Usually it's either they're homegrown or they're trading for guys midway through the year. The main contributors, your Justin Verlanders, Zach Greinke, those Marcell Ozuna, they don't have to have a sales pitch to come here. They have their homegrown talent, and then when the time comes to add a piece
Who
or
are you
two,
thinking of? Because you're not thinking of. You said Marcell Ozuna, but you're not thinking of him.
no, I know. I always Roberto Ozuna. I always call him Marcel.
But like my thing is too, with all
Marcel.
these, Garrett Cole wants to play in California and the West Coast. People forget that there's kind of a big deal going around the Angels right now. I mean, there's an investigation going on in L.A., in Anaheim, right? That's not over yet. Apparently, there were 5 more guys that were dropped to be getting, whatever they're getting, painkillers, whatever, illegally. Why does a player who was so close to a world championship, why would you want to go to either one of those organizations where it's just not stable? Don't you want some stability?
I would go to the Angels because
Why?
it's in LA, because it's in a nice market, and I wouldn't mind moving my family over there and starting a life in Los Angeles.
But again, you have to see with the Houston Astros. You have to see what the punishment is.
And when's that gonna? That's got to happen.
Yeah,
soon.
when do you think
I mean,
that will
the
happen?
commissioner's got to do something soon.
I guess they need to
Maybe
like,
he's still
have an
could be
investigation.
still sorting through evidence. You never, how deep this thing is.
And all the evidence goes against. I mean, at this point, you got to just be saying, how bad is this punishment going to be?
If you're
It's
losing
not, will
AJ
there be
Hinch
a
for a
punishment?
year, maybe then you don't want to go to Houston. If it's half a year, I mean, you probably still.
But
do.
my point is not, and I'm not talking about Cole. I'm talking about any player at this point. My point is not like, it wasn't that bad. I can go there. I think they can be. It's more of just like they're kind of like completely unstable to me. Their organization just did something that's never been done in baseball, and one of the worst things you can be accused for. Why do you want to be a part of that?
Because you want to win.
Do you think Joe Espada's just sitting there waiting for this to come out so he could be the new manager of the Astros?
You think Hinch could be banned for life?
Yeah.
Because I'm hearing it's possible.
I think that's what will end up happening. I think they're going to have to ban.
I think that's
ban
the
him
most
for life.
extreme thing you can do, and I wouldn't blame them for doing it. And again, it's not because of the whole cheating thing. It's more about how he handled it afterwards and the things he said and the people he put down to make himself look like he was some, fucking god. And that's what would piss me off. The fact that he completely just made Major League Baseball look like a bunch of idiots for even accusing them. I would ban his ass.
Okay, you do that.
I feel like Joe Espada got really screwed over with all this because he was right on the verge of becoming a manager somewhere, and now he'll probably never get a manager job because all those guys got signed
Who'd San
up.
Francisco hire? I forget.
What's his face? The former manager in Philadelphia.
Oh,
yeah,
right. Gabe
Gabe
Kapler. That was an awful hire. And
Who's he best friends
do
with?
we know about our boy Ron Wotus?
Who is he best friends with?
He's best friends with.
Gabe Kapler?
Yeah, who is he? I heard he got that job because he's best friends with somebody over there. It might be the president of the team.
Huh. I
He's-
have to sneeze.
Someone says he's a big friend.
I felt good. What about our boy Ron Wotus? Why did you find anything
I
on
don't
him?
think he's there anymore.
Well, his contract was up.
Phil's general manager, yeah. Oh no, that's I don't know, man. Ron Wotus,
Yeah.
he currently serves as the San Francisco Giants.
That's probably not updated.
Nah. Anywho.
Ooh, Ron Wotus emerges as bench coach candidate for the Mets. Did they
Wow.
hire someone?
Yeah, no, they hired Hensley Mullins though.
Sucks.
Wotus will get a job somewhere. How many
No,
championship
he's still.
teams
It
was he
says
in?
current on his Twitter account. It says anyway.
Yeah, but he also hasn't tweeted since October 30th.
Yeah.
He's got 73 tweets in his lifetime.
Ron Wody, we call him.
Nobody calls him that, not even you.
Yeah. Go back to the episode when we had him on. I called him that.
You called him Wody?
Yeah. No, in 2020, Ron Modus will begin his 23rd season as a
they brought
coach
him back?
for the Giants. Yes.
Wow. Good for him.
33rd in year.
Ron
in the
was a good guy.
organization.
Really nice guy on the
Gabe
show.
Kapler will be his 4th manager. Wow, that's pretty crazy.
That really is, because think about how many years Bochy was there.
That shows a lot about Ron Modus, I think. I don't really know the guy, but we interviewed him. But, I mean, to last that long with that many different managers, usually they'd want to get you out of there.
A few championships. He's a good baseball guy.
Yeah, he is a good guy to have.
Versatile coach.
Oh.
What are you doing, pal? You're very quiet.
I'm trying to find something.
Is it Farhan?
All right, so Cole to Cali. Is this resurfacing
here it
now?
is, Christian. Giants president of baseball operations Farhan Zahidi hires Gabe Kapler.
Yeah, well, that's his job. But he might be close with him on a personal
Yeah,
level.
well, I think that's what the article was saying.
I heard somebody say it. I can't find anything on it right now.
Whatever.
This Cole shit.
Because it wouldn't make sense for this guy. He was such a disaster in Philadelphia to just jump right in and get a job. But, we've seen it in other places.
He sucked. Is this Cole shit resurfacing again, man?
What?
The Cole stuff to California. Is this resurfacing again? Because I thought it was squashed.
Who squashed it?
I thought it was squashed. A couple weeks ago, it was Cole never said that. He's open to play anywhere. And
it was something that I've read that the Yankees are still, quote, in, but they believe that he feels they feel that he prefers to go to California.
And the only thing I heard was the Angels are giving him a fucking, pretty much saying they're going to give him a blank check, that they'll pay anything for this guy.
And they need to. The Yankees need to, but the Angels do as well because,
You hired a legitimate coach now.
Not only that, what are you going to waste all of Mike Trout's prime years?
That's what I'm saying. You hired a legitimate coach. Trout is still performing, if not better than he ever has. You got to start building around this guy. It's just not fair to him. He showed commitment to you. And he shouldn't have. Everyone said he shouldn't have. And he did. You got to start showing him some commitment now. That you're at least trying to bring a championship. Trying to. I'm trying.
The reason why we bring this up is that I don't want the Yankees to just use that as an excuse of why they didn't get this guy. Be like, oh, he really wanted to go to California. Well, you know what? We say it all the time. Who else really wanted to go to California? And who else? And who wound up playing here?
Not because they offered him something that wasn't even close.
And he's probably going to get about $100 million more than you ended up offering Sabathia in his initial contract. But isn't it something that you have to do?
There's no excuse. Like I said, it can't come down to money. If it comes down to money for me, I'm just not okay with it.
I mean, if they're going to offer him like $350 million, then obviously, but you have to go in with a number that people can say, okay, they did what they needed to do.
Dude, they could hire him. The Angels can offer him something stupid, right? $250 million.
I don't think that's stupid. I think that's probably on the low end.
Okay, $300 million. The Yankees can offer him $301 million. And if he chooses to go to the Angels, I take the Yankees off the hook. That's all I care about. Just show me that he chose to go to Anaheim at that point, not because it was more money, but because that's where he wanted to play. And then he can go fuck himself. But if it's the other way, if it's that the Angels offered way more money than the Yankees and they let another guy walk, then the Yankees can go fuck themselves to me.
Oh, then I'm done with the team. I'm never going to watch them again.
I'm not done with the team, but I'm just not okay with it. And I'm not going to make excuses for them.
That's how you'll be, though. You'll be like, I'm done. I'm never going to watch them again.
No, I don't get that way anymore. Maybe 3-4 years ago I would have. I don't
this
get
team
that way
owes
anymore.
me this. They owe me this.
No, they don't know me shit. But I think just in general, I mean, we've held out on so many contracts and we've made so many excuses for them. Rational excuses. I mean, whatever. But now, what the fuck? Let's go.
Cole's 30 years old, right? He'll be 30 years old.
Okay.
Let's say $28 million. We'll say 29 times 7 years. 29 million times 7 years. It's $203 million.
Okay.
That probably won't get it done.
So what do you think does? You think the years or the money?
I think you got to go at least 7.
I think that's fair. I think it's more than fair. 7 years, $32 million a year.
If the Yankees don't put at least $225 million on the table in front of Garrett Cole, then then I'm not okay with it. But if they do, then I can at least say they offered this guy $32 million a year. He didn't want it. And again, we always say this though. How far are you going to chase a guy? How far do you want to chase somebody?
Well, with a guy like Cole, you have to give the tactic of giving him such a big offer before he can talk to too many people that you say, look, this offer expires the second you walk out of those doors. And that has to be so good that he has to at least question, will he even come close to getting that type of offer anywhere else? So I think at $32 million a year for 7 years, Cole would look at that and say, maybe it's not worth me walking into these doors without shaking a hand and agreeing on something.
Yeah, but what if he could get the same from Oakland?
But what if he doesn't know that yet? But what if he doesn't know that
I think
yet?
Scott Boras doesn't know.
Well, that's my thing. You have to throw out an offer, and it has to be, look, dude, this is your offer right now. The second you start talking to other teams, it goes away.
Yeah, okay. You think the Yankees are going to
And
put
where
themselves in that situation?
Maybe they have to. But it has to be an offer that is through the roof.
The 225 is probably
So
not
maybe
through the roof.
maybe 250. Maybe it's got to be that good.
See, you can't be short-sighted on this.
You have to hit his number without him needing to talk to any other teams. Because then you're just going to be in a bidding war, and they're going to lose again.
Look up Paxton and Tanaka's contract status. I believe they're both free agents after this year. I think that's something else that has to play into the Yankees' mind.
Tanaka, you said?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Go to Spot Track. That's the website to do it. It'll tell you.
Who's the other one? Paxton?
Yeah, I think Paxton, this is his final year. Yeah, he's a free agent at the end of this season.
Spot Track.
It's a good website.
What is it all?
All the contracts for
and
all
shit?
major
Yeah,
sports.
I like that.
And he's also so the Yankees are going to lose. They could potentially lose 2/5 of their rotation at the end of the year because Tanaka and Paxton are free agents at the end of 2020.
And then you know who they get next year? Corey Kluber. He's a free agent.
Because he'll be 40 now.
Yeah.
Come on, man. The Yankees got to get this fucking guy.
I think instead of going to arbitration with Paxton, the Yankees should just offer him a long-term deal.
Lock him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
I see
I
them doing
agree.
that.
I think he's earned it.
And to be honest with you, the Yankees can't be like, well, look at what our payroll is in this year. Your payroll is going to go down drastically pitching-wise in 2021.
Yeah, I think the payroll goes from 94 to 52 million next season.
They can't be thinking about, we got to pay Glaber, we got to pay Judge, we got to pay this. That's why the Yankees need to, Brian Cashman wants to be smarter than everybody. Be smart now. Lock up Glaber Torres. Lock up Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all of those players
Know
will
where
be-
your money's going.
Here are the arbitration eligibles for after next season: James Paxton, Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, Tommy Kahnle, Gio Urshela, Chad Green, Jordan
It's
Montgomery.
our fucking team right there. You just named our team.
Yeah. So this is a big year for that then, Christian, where they're gonna have to look into signing some guys long term.
And I'm sorry,
They
you
want to
talk.
avoid arbitration.
Listen, you talk about that window with that many guys going up for free agency at that point or whatever, your window closes even quicker. This is your year, man. If you weren't going to do it in 2019, you better do it in 2020.
As things currently stand, New York has just $94.7 million committed to payroll in 2021. That number drops to $51.2 million in 2022, $45.5 in 2023, $41.7 in 2024. So they have no money in the on the books for the 2020s.
You need to relieve the pressure right now. You need to relieve this pressure to win a championship, because with that many guys that are going to be up in the air, if you don't win a World Series this year, you're going to feel that pressure to sign back as many people as you can to keep this team together.
Yeah.
Where maybe if you do win one, I'm not saying you give up on guys like Judge and shit like that, but I'm saying you can start to think about even resetting now again, where you don't need to sign all these guys back. Starting a,
That's a good point. Because if they do win one, then I don't see them giving a long-term deal to Gary Sanchez.
$41 million in 2024, and 30 of that is Giancarlo Stanton.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And the other 10 is Aaron Hicks. So
Yeah.
pretty much the only money they have committed in 2024 is those two players.
Because they drafted a couple of catchers, too. So that's a good point, Chris. That kind of like it's the same point Christian was making with Garrett Cole with not getting a World Series this year, because it just has a motive. There's a reason for it.
I mean,
different
you'll
reason
be happy
for
in,
it, but
you'll be happy in L.A. and you might be getting more money, but you didn't get that fucking World Series that you want.
Exactly.
Just spend them. Just spend.
spend.
Money.
Just
and
spend
lock
money.
up some of these guys. Go to
cap. Just do it. Get taxed. Who cares?
I don't think Aaron Judge is going to squeeze them for $35 million a year.
Nah.
Listen, I think Sweeney Murdy brought up a great point when we had him on a couple weeks ago. And that was that it's not about getting taxed. It's about where that money goes when they have to pay into it. And it goes to teams that are already on the rise. Like it goes to the Rays. It goes to teams like that. Now they're getting better and beating the Yankees with their own money.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, but I also think even further than that, if depending on how far over you go, you lose slotting in the draft, and I think it affects your international bonus pool money, which we know Brian Cashman loves. Which he traded.
He traded Judge for enough of it. If he had
what the hell did he trade?
Nestor Cortez?
Nestor Cortez. He traded Nestor Cortez.
But who was the other dude? Warren, Adam Warren, last year, 2 years ago. All right.
The Yankees traded Nestor Cortez to see. It's like that's where Brian Cashman dumps all his garbage is in Seattle.
It's always Seattle, and then he gets the
really
money.
Is.
Loves it.
Well, it's because the GM out there is not a douchebag, and he's willing to work with the Yankees.
Oh, here it is. Beginning in 2018, clubs that are $40 million or more above the tax threshold, shall have their highest selection in the next Rule 4 draft move back 10 places.
Wow.
Unless the pick falls in the top 6.
I like the way baseball does that.
In that case, the team will have its second highest selection move back 10 places. So if you do go over that a certain amount, you will get Rule 4 draft. I thought it was Rule 5 draft. How many fucking rules?
That's different.
Yeah, so all right.
So why don't you Google Rule 4 draft, Ryan, and tell everybody what it is?
Nah.
Rule 4 draft is the official term for the first-year player draft.
Did you know that, Chris?
Nope.
Oh, so that's just the draft.
Yeah, it's the draft.
Did
you know that, Christian?
I did know that. That's why I told you to Google it.
Rule 5. Rule
That's nice.
5 is
you
Rule
told
5
me to
is
look it up instead of just telling me.
Rule 5 is after
learn here.
they've been drafted.
Right. Or should I look that one up now?
Rule 5 is for the guys that are not protected on the 40.
The Rule 5 draft allows clubs, without a full 40-man roster to select certain non-40-man roster players from other clubs.
The only thing I don't know is that when they become eligible for Rule 5, how long they have to be in the minor leagues.
That's a good question there. They have played players who sign with their current club at age 18 or younger and have played professionally for at least 5 years are eligible to be selected. So you have to play professionally for 5 years or be drafted by your team at age 18 or younger. Interesting.
Yeah, but when it's still 5.
So then if they've played 5 years professionally, but then that 6th year they're in the minor leagues and they're off the 40-man roster, then that's when they would be Rule 5 eligible.
Now, are you done? You done educating everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's today's lesson.
What else, Chris?
I'm ready to debate.
So debate. I'm just gonna listen to you talk.
So everyone watch The Irishman, if you had time. How long was it? 3 hours and 29 minutes?
3:29.
I knew right away that you weren't going to like it. Me and Ryan loved it.
Fallacy number one.
Yeah,
No.
see, I thought he was going to like it.
I didn't.
Because there's some Sopranos guys in there. Joe Pesci's back on the big screen. It's a mob movie. Christian likes those.
I knew he wasn't gonna. I knew that it was gonna let him down because it doesn't have that. And spoiler alert, by the way. Right? Are we spoiling or no? Is this just gonna be surface level?
I don't know. If you want to spoil, then go ahead. But if you're listening now and you haven't seen The Irishman, then just leave us a 5-star rating and review and turn off the pod.
I won't spoil. I don't think we have to spoil. But there's no real moment that, like the way Scorsese has done his last few movies, I feel like there's no big moment. It just kind of happens in real time. Like it would, the way he depicts it on screen is the way it would happen in real life. It's not like some falsified, buildup of suspense where he needs to do certain things to make you put you on the edge of your seat.
The big moments were really quick.
Quick.
It's just wow, that happened.
How it would happen.
Yeah.
And you have to appreciate that. And you have to know that it's still a big buildup. But the problem is that you do have to watch this is a 3.5-hour movie. You do have to watch it twice, I think, to really appreciate it. And I haven't watched it twice yet, and I still loved it. But there's so much that you didn't pick up on. When me and Ryan were talking about it this weekend, there was shit he was saying I didn't pick up on and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So those small moments that you might have missed are what the buildups are to the big moments.
Okay.
And that's why you didn't like it. Plain and simple.
See, him, because I didn't love the movie, he thinks I didn't like the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going out here and saying
I'm sorry, you can't just like this movie, though. Because
that's
it's
where you're fucking
but
wrong.
It's 3.5 hours long.
But that's where you're wrong, and that's why people are so. This is what.
How do you like a 3.5-hour movie? You can't. You either hated it because it wasted your time, or you loved it. Did it waste your time? Did you waste 3.5 hours?
I don't feel like I don't feel like I wasted my time. I'm glad I saw the movie, but I didn't love it. I didn't walk away from it saying, "Wow, this is the best movie I've ever saw." It just kind of went along, and if that was his plan for it, great. That's not how I enjoy a movie, where it just went along. There was good acting in it. I enjoyed some of the storylines, but it just went along. And it's a 3.5-hour movie.
It did. It just goes along.
And if you're gonna make a movie that long, you need to have a little bit more sizzle in it. I'm sorry, you do. You got to pop somebody in a 3.5-hour movie. You just can't just have it go along. If you were just gonna have it go along, then you're on Netflix, right? 4-part miniseries, boom.
Yeah, you said that, and I don't disagree.
And they only didn't and Scorsese said, "Oh, this is the way that I wanted to tell the story in one sitting," and blah blah blah.
Every episode, Ryan's dropping shit.
And Martin Scorsese, I lose a lot of respect for him because he, Marvel.
You got to think though too.
Marvel movies aren't cinematic.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, you know what, bro? The worst Marvel movie made $1 billion more than any fucking movie you've ever made. So you can, go screw yourself on that one. Why? Because
I want my pin back. That I gave you.
Superheroes, whatever. Who cares? This is another debate. But they had to release it in the theaters because they had to get an Oscar nomination for Robert De Niro, who didn't deserve one, in my opinion. The scene where he beats up the grocery store clerk was one of the worst.
Yeah, is that his fault though, or is that the director's fault?
That's whoever's in charge.
He's 80 years old.
Exactly. So if you had the wherewithal,
that's not on De Niro. That was on the cinematographer and the APA.
But here's my point. The whole point of this movie is that you didn't want younger actors to play these guys. You had to de-age them. Fine.
Yeah.
Then don't make it look so bad.
Well, you should have gotten a double on scenes like that.
Even what all they had to do there was you do a perspective from the ground and you just look up on his face. You didn't need a full body shot of almost 80-year-old De Niro kicking somebody.
Dude, you just
that totally took me out of it.
You just did a whole movie where you made people look younger, but they were themselves. You can easily put that his face over a younger guy's body at that point.
Or just don't do what they did there. There was another part where Pacino's character jumps on another character, leaps off his chair, and that took me out of it a little because it was clearly a stunt double. But I mean, that kind of shit didn't bother me though, because I went into this movie expecting to have a few moments where I was like, oh, that didn't look good, which was fine.
But that was so bad.
No, that was very
so
bad. I agree. When I was watching it, I was
bad.
saying that wasn't good. But it didn't take away from the overall movie for me, because I was really, actually, to be honest, I wasn't looking that forward to this movie. I didn't think it looked that good. And then the last couple trailers, it started to sway me. But having like Pesci on screen again, that was just the big thing for me.
I actually give it all to the actors. I don't even give it to Scorsese. I give it all to the actors. The actors
and
were that
to be honest
good.
with you, I found myself a little bored when Joe Pesci wasn't on the screen.
Joe Pesci was, in my opinion, the best.
And he played such a different role for him, because he's always that
totally different.
I mean, Pacino was amazing, but
that firecracker
they talk about that in the roundtable discussion that place,
where he was more like
after.
an understated guy, in this type of movie.
I thought Romano was really good too, actually.
Yeah, Ray Romano, really good.
That was one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Is when at the beginning of the movie when
don't spoil too much.
When they're talking,
when
they're talking, and he's like, but it's in the trailer though. It's in the trailer, and he goes,
you
want to know if I did it or not, right?
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts of the
That
movie.
was a great movie. That was a great
part. There was some great dialogue throughout that movie.
Yeah, I mean, and the one thing I'll credit Scorsese with is his ability to throw in comedic relief throughout a movie like that, and the comedic relief is really good.
But I feel that you can be in the middle with this movie. You can appreciate it for what it for acting, and the roles, and being a guy that's always kind of had an interest in mob stories, and you can appreciate that. But then you can also come away and saying
the only reason why I
this
say
is not
that,
a great movie.
The only reason why I say it's tough to be in the middle is because there's a lot more going into this. It's not just an hour and a half, 45-minute movie. This took up 3.5 hours of your day.
Well, it didn't.
I feel like
I watched it in parts.
Okay, so that's different. Then maybe that was different. But if you sat there for 3.5 hours and at the end of it you weren't blown away in some regard, you probably don't like it as much as you would have if it was shorter.
I would, because of the fact that they did it in this scenario. If they would have done it in a miniseries sense, it would have been outstanding.
There was someone on Twitter that marked. Did you see that, Christian? He put like markers on where you should stop it if you wanted to watch it as a 4-part miniseries.
I did see it, but
after you watched it,
there's a point that I made on Twitter yesterday after I finished, whenever I finished watching it, is that it's not built to lead into an end. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're writing it to be a 4-part movie or whatever, you're writing it to end it at a certain point and lead into the next episode. So even if you did that, like you watch enough movies, you know when you can stop something, and I did that, but it's still, it's not leading into something,
I thought the storytelling was brilliant and the actors, but I don't disagree with you when you say it didn't give you that moment.
Especially the way that they ended it. It was just so bland at the end.
Yeah, but you also have to understand that they're telling someone's story.
And okay, but that's not how...
He wasn't going to fabricate it in any way.
That in the sense of it being a movie, it's a boring ending.
Okay, yeah, all right. See, but this is why I really, really liked this movie a lot, was because of how real it was. Like that,
it was.
How it ends with them in a nursing home and dipping bread into grape juice, and they're friggin', they're just, they're alone now. It's just them.
Which is fine. I have no problem.
No, I'm not saying you have a problem with it. I'm just saying that it's
not
nice to see a movie like, and I love the superhero movies and all that shit like that. But it's nice. This is one of the main reasons I loved Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Tarantino movie from earlier this year, is that it was a breath of fresh air. It was different, and it was real characters.
Christian probably would have liked it more if if it ended with De Niro at a restaurant looking up at someone and it going to a black screen.
No dickhead.
Probably would have appreciated it.
Did you watch? Because you never seen Goodfellas.
No, I really do have to watch that.
The end of Goodfellas is not explosive.
I do have to watch Goodfellas.
It kind of just ends with him in the courtroom, and then he's in.
Don't blow it. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
right?
actually,
And then
I have to watch it all. I have to watch it again.
And then he's in the WPP, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know what that means. So,
Okay.
But
But Goodfellas is based on a true story.
all right, ratings out of 10.
6.
I'll give it a. Well, I do want to watch it again before I really give it a rating.
First
but
time through 7.5 or 8.
I'll give it an 8.8 out of 10.
That's like one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah, I thought it was one of the greatest movies of all time.
In terms of what it was and where the future of the movie. See, I think this is the beginning of the future of Hollywood, where
I'll give it an 8.
you're gonna see these kind of movies being done all the time, where like when Leonardo DiCaprio is 70 years old, he's going to be playing 30-year-old Leo, and it's going to look so much better. This is seriously the future.
This is the first time it's ever happened on this scale.
But
so
you can make an argument for having younger actors play younger versions. Like you could have De Niro, Pesci be the OGs in the movie and then have younger people play them, because De Niro as young Vito in Godfather 2 is one of my favorite roles of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can make an argument.
Oh yeah, no, that is an artistic decision to do that, and that is a good one in some cases. But I mean, as an audience, all we want is like, what's the new thing, what's the cool thing, and that is something that could be really cool in the future.
Yeah, but if it's gonna look like shit, like it did in the grocery store scene.
But I mean, think of the first thing of anything. Think of like the I don't know, man. Just how much better things get over time. The first computer compared to where we are now. With technology, it advances and it goes quick.
See, I feel like because Netflix bankrolled this thing, Scorsese wasn't under pressure to make a theatrical movie, and he can really do what he felt like he wanted to do
tell
with
a
it,
story almost,
which is fine. But then if you're gonna take Netflix's money, do it in a more of a Netflix type style.
It didn't work that way.
I think it was just a matter of they want to change the game in a way, like not just through this technology, but we want major motion pictures being released on Netflix, because that's the future of the audience.
You know how many?
And then the Academy Awards needs to change their criteria for getting nominations.
You know how many places he went to that he got denied the money?
And I would have denied him too if I was a studio executive.
Netflix didn't even fucking bat an eye. They handed him a check.
Of course they would.
Bags of cash.
But if you're a studio like Sony...
what were you saying, though? What were you about to say?
What?
They should change the way you get nominated.
With
that you
getting
don't have
nominated.
to be on a big screen.
Because they'd had to be released in the theater to get them nominations, to get Oscar nominations. You can't go straight to Netflix. Yeah.
Because there was a movie a few years ago. I guess it was
on Amazon, right?
No, I was telling you about this. It was The Beasts of No Nation.
Yeah.
It was a Netflix movie that was nominated for a bunch of stuff, but I guess it must have.
I've never even heard of this movie.
It was with Idris Elba.
Some of these movies get like
lost.
Not even lost. Like they'll go into the theaters just for a week.
Yeah, and then be eligible because of that.
Yeah. Like
maybe Beasts of No Nations. Oh no, Beasts of No Nation didn't get any nominations.
Well, earn any? Yeah.
Well, you ever see them do weird shit like with the Sandra Bullock movie with the blindfold?
Bird Box?
Yeah. That was in a theater for like a week.
Yeah. All right. 7.5 for me. I'll leave myself room to watch it again and make it a better rating.
All right.
All right. We have questions from Twitter? Or do you just want to sit in silence?
I'm reading something.
Yeah, look at this. The rule allows any film to be considered for an Oscar so long as they have a minimum 7-day theatrical run in a LA theater. I didn't know that was like an official
Christian on
thing.
It, and then he was very adamant.
I thought it was just
Netflix
bias, but it's an actual. All right, well then you're right, Christian. They got to change that shit then.
So exactly, if you gotta pick and choose your battles here. Do you want to get an Oscar nom, or do you want to probably tell the story in a better context?
Right.
Fair.
Because honestly, watching the movie, who really deserves an Oscar nomination out of that movie? I don't think anybody did. I think they all did.
No, I think Pacino. I think Pacino definitely deserves.
I think all of them deserve a nomination.
I think Pacino's going to.
I liked him, but he was. I don't know. I got to watch the Hoffa movie with Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, I don't know enough.
No,
about
I think all of them deserve one.
But he was just like, it was almost like too much for me.
Nah, all of them deserve one.
Yeah, Pacino's a very theatrical actor. But no, you know what?
Who deserves a win? Pesci for me.
I was about to say, I think Joe Pesci could be the one that sneaks in and gets all the awards.
But again, I don't really watch a lot of movies that are nominated, so I couldn't compare it to anybody else.
I think Joe Pesci's role was that good.
And it's just so different from anything he's done, you said.
I would say I'd be very confident he would win out of any of them.
But here's my problem. I don't appreciate the fucking smugness of people that love this movie towards people that didn't love it. Oh, you're just too stupid to understand it.
I
no,
thought
you're not too stupid.
I thought you were gonna watch this.
You don't, whatever.
I thought you were gonna watch this and say anyone who didn't like it is a fucking idiot. But no, there's definite room to not like this movie.
You're not dumb if you didn't like this movie.
No, you just have a different taste.
But I think everyone, if you are a fan of mob movies and the cast that was in this, then you have to appreciate this movie.
Oh, if you didn't like it, you don't appreciate history. Yeah, and you know what? Goodfellas is one of my favorite movies of all time.
How great was it?
It was cool to see De Niro and Pesci back in those roles.
That first scene. Sorry, keep going.
That doesn't mean like I want to see Derek Jeter and Mariano Rivera lace them up again and try to play baseball again. I understand it's a different scenario, but at some point your time passes, right? Even in acting.
Yeah,
sure.
I
somebody pointed to somebody. I said this on Twitter. Wouldn't it have been cool to have a movie where De Niro, Pesci, and Pacino just play old school mob bosses, where they're in it a limited time, and then younger actors carry the movie? That would have been fucking cool.
Or just the whole movie is them older. Like you could have made that last like half hour of the movie the whole movie, where it's them dealing with all of their past actions and what happens next.
I thought an unnecessary storyline was Hoffa and the daughter.
That was my favorite storyline.
That's where you, as someone who didn't really think it was amazing, that's why those are the things you don't appreciate. Those things. And I'm not saying you're stupid.
I just thought it was unnecessary.
Right, because you didn't understand his take on the story of what was important and what wasn't. What was important to you was seeing who got killed and who was hit and who was this and who was that. Those underlying storylines are what made the movie, what made the character. Because the character you didn't get much out of. You just knew he was this guy.
If you're going to give me a nearly 3.5 hour movie, that's not important. That's not important.
It's not. That's false.
No,
that's why it's 3.5 hours.
That was actually my favorite.
Let me rephrase that. If you're going to give me a 3.5 hour movie, then why not make it just go 4 hours?
Because that wasn't the story he was trying to
hours.
tell. He wasn't trying to tell the story that you wanted to hear.
Well, what was the story? Was he jealous that Hoffa had a better relationship with his daughter than he did? Because you never really got the sense that bothered him.
No, I don't.
Was that a reason why?
No,
the story was it's not just mob bosses that are affected by what they do or people in the mob what they do. Do you ever think about the mob's family?
Yeah.
Their daughters?
Did you ever
of how fucked up their lives are because of it?
Did you ever watch The Sopranos?
No.
Well, it's not just about
Okay,
mob.
so that's what Scorsese was doing. So maybe you should rewatch it.
Well, maybe What's His Face did a better job of telling that story than
he also
Martin
had how
Scorsese
many
did.
years? He had 8 years to do it.
He had 8 years working on this friggin' movie, it felt like. How long ago did we hear about this? 2015?
Well, wow.
Questions?
Huge letdown.
Huge. We have questions? I'm over you now. My chest, I have agita.
Yeah. When did you learn that word?
I have agita a lot.
Okay, let's end the show with some fan questions here. Figure we'll do something a little different here to end the show. Didn't think we'd have a lot of content today, and then here we are sitting at the hour mark anyway.
Do you not have the Twitter app? Hey, what are we doing?
Don't worry about what I have and what I don't have.
A lot of silence.
So talk. Say something.
It's not my job to talk. It's your show, remember?
Big day in fantasy for Stat Guy Ride today.
Oh, yeah.
I got Aaron Rodgers going against the Giants. I need him that nice day.
He'll kill him.
Right.
Game doesn't start for another half hour. Shorty's already thrown for 500 yards. All right, let's go with Chris Colon to start. He wants to know that we've actually witnessed the best and worst Yankee season that we've ever seen.
Ooh. The best
Best for me was 2009. I'd say that the whole run. Although this year was a good run, so 2017 was nice. But I have to say 2009 because they won the World Series and Chris and I went to a lot of games. So that was a fun year.
I mean, the obvious answer is 98, but
You were 10.
right. I mean, I have to go with 2009 because of what Ryan said.
Yeah.
I would go with 2009 as well, just because, like, even though I was older, you're still in high school and you're still doing different things, and you're not as locked into it as you would be at an older age. So, in 2009, and whatever year that Vernon Wells and Travis Hafner was on the Yankees is by far the worst.
Yeah,
year
I was thinking like maybe
I've ever witnessed.
Maybe like 2004, but I was 12 for that, so I didn't really hit.
Yeah, but that team was still good. It
Yeah.
was still a playoff team. This team was just disgusting to watch.
Awful.
Agree.
That might have been like 2010, no?
No, it was
like
later.
2014.
It had to be 2013.
2013, 2014. Ugh.
Oh, Lilo.
Well,
right.
they missed the playoffs 2 years in a row, right?
Travis Hafner.
13 and 14.
13 and 14.
Yeah, 13 and 14.
Who else was on that shitty team?
Jeter. Ugh.
Austin Gregory, do the Yankees bring back either Didi and or Betances? At this point, I don't really see them bringing back either one of them.
I think the DD train is gone. I think it's past. I see them bringing back Betances, though. I really do.
Man, I don't know.
I see Betances as a Yankee this year.
I just don't. If this report of them being interested in Trinan didn't come out, I could see it. But I just think that they're interested in him because they don't want to bring Betances back, and they want to keep the bullpen depth at where it was.
Maybe.
And where I just don't see it happening is because those are two players that I see getting more money than the Yankees are going to be willing to offer them.
The thing about Didi though is where he still makes sense, and your analytics and your stupid bacon stats or whatever that shit was yesterday that came out.
Bacon.
I just think, first of all, we're at a point now where we're just going to make up stats just for the hell of it and just to prove how smart everybody is.
Right.
We're going to take out strikeouts and walks, and then we're going to tell you.
It's
so stupid.
It's too much. What is that called? There's like a balance beam thing where, it's like they balance one another out, but now it's getting like analytics are really making it way too heavy on their side. Analytics are a crucial part of modern baseball.
Don't defend Greg Bird when he's played like 3 games in 5 years.
You can't defend Greg Bird, man.
Right?
My thing about that stat, using it to defend Greg Bird, and then the person who I'm not going to give him the rub on this show. If you know who he is, you know who he is. But I'm not going to say his name because he came off as a smug douchebag in the comments to people. But you're using that stat to defend Greg Bird, and then you're going to disparage somebody that says the eye test.
Yes.
Yeah, the eye test showed me that his bat couldn't catch up to a fucking fastball if his life depended on it.
When it does, dude, my best friend Justin hits fucking dingers when he makes contact, but he doesn't have a high WOBA He's not in the major leagues, but yeah, when he hits a baseball, it goes really far. Should he play on the Yankees?
No.
Come on, dude. There's more than just having a high contact rate.
Again, if you wanted to fight this from like a guy like that's on the fence, like kind of like Luke Voigt, who's like, we're still kind of like, is he the guy? Is he not?
On the fence character, yeah.
But Greg Bird, let's take away any of his talent. I don't care about his talent.
No.
That's the problem.
Not the reason
you don't defend a guy who you don't care about their talent anymore. You care about the fact that they don't play.
I couldn't even break 50 miles an hour right now if I threw a baseball. I don't think Greg Bird could catch up to it.
Yeah, probably. Chris throw a slider to Greg Bird 10 times, I bet he wouldn't.
And you want to use analytics to defend Greg Bird, but how about at the end of August of 2018, he had the 5th lowest weighted on base average against fastballs 95 miles an hour or above.
Oh, that's not good.
And he only played a handful of games after that because guess what?
He was
hurt.
Yep.
So let's not defend Greg Bird about anything.
No. I don't die on that hill
and
anymore.
when people don't defend him, don't fucking disparage them. I like that word you used.
Yeah, seriously. Like, you can't tell someone who says Greg Bird's a fucking bum that they're wrong.
Because he is.
Because he fucking is. Like, that's just the facts. I don't need analytics.
But seriously, how many times in the last, if you even want to count last year in 2018, how many times did you see him? It looked like he was just swinging.
Weird.
Like, against, like it was a gale force winds were coming at him, and he was trying to cut a baseball bat through it. And it just was awful to watch. And I don't need, like you said, you don't need analytics to tell you about that.
Yeah.
My eyes work perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And And again, before we move on to the next question, we're getting into a point now where it's analytics versus people that like to watch baseball on the field.
Okay. Greg Bird's been in the league for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know how many games he averages per season?
Can I guess?
4 years?
Yeah.
All right. You go first.
You're not taking into account the season that he missed completely?
I'm counting ever since he made his debut.
So then it's going to be even lower because you're having a year where he's adding nothing into it.
Okay.
So 15,
That's his
16,
fault, right?
17, 18, 19. So he was actually in the league 5 years. You're not. I bet you looked at Baseball Reference and there's nothing there because of the year that he missed completely. Right?
Wow, you're right. You're right.
So let's just take the. Want to just take the 4
Yeah,
years?
just
No. Okay, that's fine.
No, do the
Just take
4
the
years,
4
that,
years that he actually played.
was eligible to be on the field.
I would say it's in the 50s.
46 and a half.
Okay.
When you
Let me
take into
guess.
the complete year he missed due to injury, right? It was due to injury?
Yeah.
37. So take your fucking stats, take your fucking bacon, whatever the fuck you want to take, and shove it right the fuck up your ass and videotape it and put it on Twitter. Okay? Thank you. End of story.
All right. This is DJ Minard. This maybe was a question directed more for me than you two guys, but he wants to know which two current Yankees would make the best WWE tag team.
Voight and Stan, hands down, not even up for debate.
What about Tommy Kahnle?
Kahnle,
I want Kahnle and Gardner.
Kahnle, Gardner's technically not a Yankee.
Oh, yeah, true.
But
Kahnle is too over the top where I think he would be the one to get.
beat all the time? He would just
Yeah,
make it.
he would just get beat. Like people would fucking hate
But
him.
do you go? See, there's